Hi, welcome back to my channel. So, I'm going to do top 10 near deaths in live action TV. So, these are just uh some that was saddest for me, or the ones that were like scariest, like, oh my gosh, are they gonna live? Even if it was kind of like somewhat obvious that they're not gonna kill off this character because it might be a main character. Some TV doesn't shy away from doing that, but it is rare to see them kill off a main character unless, they have a whole plan in place that could work, like Charmed, killing off Prue. She wasn't my favorite, but she was a main character, and killing her off was a big thing. But they already had a storyline that could work to bring in Paige, because they found out in season 2, they found out about how what's her name? Their mom, Patty, was in love with her whitelighter Sam. So they were able to use that to say they had a secret child, but because they weren't allowed to be together before Piper and Leo, it wasn't allowed. And so they were able to do that by having her adopted and come in and be half whitelighter. So that actually worked, but it's very hard to kill off the main character and make it work, because a lot of times the show will go down. Heck, it's hard. I mean, look at Grey's Anatomy. Don't get me wrong, I'm still interested in it in the 18th season, because I actually just finally caught up with it today, because I've been a little bit behind on some of my shows. But it's not as good as it once was. I mean, I'm still interested in it enough to keep watching, and some of the characters I'm still very invested in, but it has gone down since so many of his characters has died or left. Some of my favorite characters, some of the big major characters that were a big part of Grey's Anatomy, So, but if Meredith decides to leave, or the actress plays Meredith, then they might as well stop, because I swear if they even attempt to do it without her, then I will be done with the show. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's one thing to kill off one of those other characters, but killing off Meredith, she's like the main character, or not, maybe not killing her off, but like, I don't know. But yeah, so anyways, back to this list, which is about, the ones closer to number 1 will be characters that have actually almost died more than one time, and yet they're still alive. So none of these characters actually died, or if they did die, then it would be later, and they almost died at one point. But yeah, so these are just people that have almost died, and some of them have almost died multiple times. So yeah, let's get into the list, shall we? Number 10, I have Raph from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live action movie, the one that was made in the first one that was made in 1980 something, 1988, 1989, I think, and then the second one was made in 1990. That one I know for sure. But in the first movie, Raph, and Leo got into a fight like usual, and Raph storms off and is like, doing little kicks in the air, screaming angrily into the wind, and you see Casey sees him, and just as a bunch of foot soldiers make their way toward him, and then he has to try to fight off dozens and dozens, and he is the best fighter out of all of them by far, but not even he can take on dozens of foot soldiers at once, who's being trained by the Shredder. So yeah, and then all of a sudden they throw him through the window, and they've had to fight the other turtles. They have to get away, but he's unconscious. And when they go to April's little house in the country or whatever, he's in the bathtub, still unconscious for quite some time, and he does eventually wake up, which makes everyone happy. And it was sad, but I knew they weren't gonna kill him off. But he's my favorite character, so yeah. Number 9, I have Liv from iZombie. I almost forgot what it was called. iZombie. she almost died in the finale. And they did make everyone believe she was dead except for her closest friends. Obviously, she wasn't going to keep that from them. But, like, Liv is all upset. A lot has happened, and that one girl, Clive's ex, goes down there to see her, and then someone's there and blows up the morgue. And you don't know what happened to Liv, if she's okay. And then this was messed up. It shows 5 years later, I think, and they're doing a interview, like a virtual. That's the word I was looking for. Virtual interview. Clive, Peyton, and Ravi, because they were, besides Major and Liv, they were the three that was like at the heart of the fight with Seattle and everything. And then they were being asked all these questions if, the rumors of Liv being alive is true, what happened to Major because he fell off the face of the earth, this and that. And then after the interviewer left, Liv and Major came on, and you see a flashback and find out that Major was looking at the Rumble looking for Liv, and couldn't find her. And then he returns with the kids to their little secret area where Liv is, all bruised up and hurt but alive. And you do find out because of the fact that Clive's girl ex, since she died and her baby died, doesn't want anything to do with the baby that Clive had been raising him, which is really sweet. Clive and his what's her name? Dale. I always forget her name, or almost forget her name. But yeah, Dale. And but then the five of them talk, and you find out that they are living on Zombie Island and they're together. I'm pretty sure they're married. They never say for sure, but they're together nonetheless. Both zombies with their zombie children. And yeah, so that ending had me shook for a while. Number 8, I have Arya from Pretty Little Liars. All the Pretty Little Liars has almost died, I swear. Which we'll get into. But Arya, I think she might have almost died a couple times. But the one thing that I always remember, the first thing I think of, which is also one of my favorite episodes of the show, is when she is in that box on the Halloween train. And she gets drugged, and then she wakes up in this box, and then I think she falls unconscious again, because when she wakes up again, she's in the box with Garrett, his dead body, Garrett at least, and she hears people talking, and she's really scared, and she does see a screwdriver, and she has trouble at first, but she because she was like really, her hands shaking, and she was really scared, but she managed to stab one of them in the leg. And then they were starting to try to push her off the train while she was in the box. And then Emily, Spencer, and Hannah do find her. And just as she was about to topple off the train, grab her and close the door, were able to get her out of the box. But she was terrified and crying. And then they all saw Garrett's dead body. And I love the scene when she gets out of being treated, and then the three of them ran to make sure she's okay, and their love interests or girlfriend and boyfriends are being so supportive. I don't like Paige, but they were all just standing there being so supportive, worrying about Arya too, because they were all helping find her when she went missing, because I'm pretty sure at this point they all know about A, right? No, because this would be season 3, so this was after the first A was called. And I don't think did any of them even know that the A had returned at this point? I don't remember. But either way, they were all just being supportive, and it was really sweet. But yeah, I love that episode. And Arya almost died, and it was scary because I love her. She's my favorite. Number 7, I have Lath from Rain. He, at the season 3 finale, Lola dies. She gets beheaded for betraying Queen Elizabeth for trying to kill her. And one thing I never understood was the fact why she actually believed that Mary had sent her that letter. I mean, I guess she didn't have a reason not to believe it was her, but I don't know. They've been friends forever, and I guess I never understood why Lola believed Mary would actually ask her Lola something like that. Yeah, Elizabeth uh, is a threat to Mary's reign, and Mary is a threat to Elizabeth's reign. That's why they were enemies. But Mary would never ask Lola to do something like that, you know? And anyways, that's not the point of this. Lola dies, but Laith gets stabbed, and that's kind of how the season 3 ends. So you're like, wait, does he die? Like, what? Like, Lola dies, and all of a sudden Laith gets stabbed, and it's like, did he die too? Because that's just too much in 5 minutes. Come on, people, you can't do this to us. And I like Laith. I liked him with Greer. Didn't care much for him with Claude, but I love him with Greer. I think they should have ended up together, but they were my second favorite couple. Yeah. So yeah, but he didn't die. Thankfully, he managed to survive and then managed to get back to the kingdom. But I think it was Narcissus had locked him up. No, it wasn't Narcissus because he was too busy grieving Nola at the time. Someone locked him up so that he couldn't get in the way of Claude marrying some guy. But yeah, number 6, I have Kara. She may have died a couple times, but there's only one time I can actually remember where she almost died, and that was I don't remember when it was. It was later on, not at the beginning, but she was fighting someone really powerful. I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute. And I think it was like her double or something. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've actually seen a lot of Supergirl, and I'm behind. Like, I haven't seen this new season at all yet. And but this is when Alex didn't have her memories of Kara being Supergirl, and because they had to take away that memory of them being the same person. But then she goes to help Supergirl, and she sees Supergirl fighting, and then all of a sudden you can see these images of Kara and with her powers, and Alex and Kara / Supergirl, and every time something happens, she gets another memory, whether it was after the show had already started as them were adults, or some memories of them when they were kids. And then Kara was injured and dying, and Alex ran over to help her and tried to wake her up and talk to her. And she was like, there's no sunlight, but there's sunlight in everything, so just please, like, she was pleading for Kara to live. But then all of a sudden you see like sunlight coming out. I think it was supposed to be sunlight coming out of like the grass and trees and stuff, and she was absorbing it, and she managed to wake up. And it was a really sweet moment. It's sad, but yeah. But we all knew that Kara wasn't actually gonna die, but still the scene itself was just heartbreaking and heartwarming. And yeah. Number 5, I have 11 from Stranger Things. Now, she almost died a few times as well. She almost died at the end of season 1. When she fought the Demogorgon, and then she kind of just disappeared and ended up in the Upside Down, and I don't think that ever explained exactly what happened through all that. But yeah, I consider her almost dying during all that, because it kind of looked like she did. But then I don't think she almost died in season 2. Yeah, she did the whole closing the gate thing, but she wasn't even with them for the majority of the season. You know, she doesn't even reunite with Mike and everyone till the end. But and then season 3, she almost dies when when the Demogorgon attacked them at that little cabin place they were in, and it grabs onto her, and then they were able to cut off some part of it stuck into her leg. So when they were at the mall, she ended up collapsed after they reunited with Dustin and Steve. I don't remember the little girl's name. Robin. That's not the little girl's name, but that was the other girl that was there. And then crap, what's his name? Her sister. Oh my god, I'm done. I can't even remember his name, and I shouldn't remember his name. Erica. How can I remember her name and not his name? I'm done. I'm just done today. Okay. But and then she's screaming, and they have to try to cut it out, and then she's like, no, I can do it. So she uses her power to cut it out, and then that's when you see Hopper, Joyce, and that one guy that was, you know, helping them, and who was also in season 2 because of the whole Nancy and Jonathan thing. Yeah, but number 4 is Leo from Charmed. Leo has died or almost died a few times, and I mean, let's be real. Okay, technically he is dead. Technically he did die. That's how he became a Whitelighter, a guardian angel, because technically he's already dead. But it's not like he's a vampire zombie. He has, I think he has a pulse. I mean, I don't know if they ever actually get into it, but I think he has a heartbeat. But yeah, I mean, he can eat. I mean, I don't think he has to, but he can. He's the Walking Dead, and I never realized that. Huh. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time Power fell in love with a dead guy. But no, he did almost die a few times. The only thing that can kill a Whitelighter is a Darklighter, and I know, and a Darklighters have almost killed him a couple times, and then he almost dies when he's human. The first time he almost dies is also when Piper and Prue find out that he's a Whitelighter at the end of season 4. What? No, 1. Season 1. Because Phoebe already knew he was Whitelighter at that point. And he was injured. He got shot by the Whitelighter trying to help this girl that the Whitelighter fell in love with, and Piper was a mess trying to save him, and she did end up doing it because she ended up switching their powers, and she was crying and yelling at him, saying, how could you never have shown me? And then her hands started glowing, and she's like, Leo, I love you. And then she heals him, and he's awake. And because everyone has like that one little touch that's so the trigger, that's the word I was looking for, their trigger to help them through their powers. Piper's is for the freezing is being scared, I think, because like when it first showed her using it, she was always scared. I think with blowing up, she has to be angry, like Prue. Her telekinesis works best when she's angry. But yeah, he also almost dies in season 6 when they were broken up right before they ended up conceiving Chris. And they end up in that astral plane, and a Darklighter was there, and he shot Willow. What did I say, Willow? Oh my gosh, I'm done. He shot Leo, and he almost died then too. And then he almost died when did I almost say Darklighter? No, maybe it's just okay. What's it called? The angel death. Was after him in season 8 when he was a human, and they had to freeze him to keep him alive until they can, you know, do their whole destiny thing, and then he can be freed. Number 3 is Jughead. He almost died twice. So far. He almost died at the end of season 2. He sacrificed himself so that the serpents wouldn't have to fight the ghoulies and die, and so the ghoulies attacked him and beat him to almost death, and FP found him and brought him. He did call Betty at first, and told her how much she loved her, and so she called FP saying how worried she was, how he sounded like he was saying goodbye. So FP found him, brought him back, and then that's how the episode ends. Then the next episode, he's in the hospital alive, but beaten, and he finds out about Betty and stuff and has to help her. But yeah, he also becomes Serpent King because he almost died for these serpents. But then he almost dies. There's this whole mystery in season 4, okay, about what happened to Jughead. Jughead died, and it looking like Betty had did it, and Archie and Veronica were helping her. And but then you find out that the Stonewall Prep people were trying to frame him or frame Betty and kill him because the two of them were getting too close to the truth that has been the truth of the mystery that's been plaguing that prep school for decades. And I love. Okay, my two favorite episodes of the entire show is, so far at least, is the season 3 finale where they were like all on the run from Penelope, all those tests they have to do, this and that. But the other episode is the locked room when Jughead reveals himself as alive, and him and Betty explain everything to that one teacher and the 3 Stonewall Prep people because Jonathan was dead, or at least it's made to believe he's dead, were explaining everything to them all, step by step, to show how they got to where they are now. But yeah, I absolutely love that episode. I just watched it the other day, so. Number 2, I have Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy. Like I said, she died several times, or almost died several times. The first time she almost dies was with the bomb. She put her hand in the cavity because I don't know how to explain Meredith, but like Derek said, when something happens, she doesn't freeze, she moves faster. And when that one girl got scared and took her hand out of the bomb cavity, Meredith quickly stuck it in to keep it from blowing up and killing them all. And she doesn't think a lot of times. She's just a natural born hero and will do whatever it takes to help people and stuff. She does survive, but she does kind of get blown up a bit because like the guy was trying to take the bomb away carefully. It blows up, killing him, and she was far enough away from it to survive, but it still did blast her and she was flown backwards. And then she almost dies again when she almost drowns because she kind of gave up a little bit because she was going through a lot at the time. And actually that time I think she technically did die because I think her heart technically stopped, but they were able to save her. And then come on, she dies a lot. She almost dies a lot. What other times were there? There was next. I can think of a couple more times, but I'm sure she died. Okay, the shooting. She almost dies during the shooting. I knew I was missing a couple in between because some of the other ones I was thinking about is way later. But she almost dies in the shooting. Derek and Alex are the ones that really almost die in the shooting, and then there are a couple of people do die in the shooting, but because Alex and Derek were actually shot, and I think Owen was shot, not as bad, but I don't remember what happened. I just know that Meredith had to, do surgery on him while she was having miscarriage. That's all I remember about that part, at least. And but she does offer herself up to the gunman while pregnant. I love her little eye for an eye speech, though. She's like, how does she put it? She's like, Richard Webber was your doctor. I'm like a daughter he never had. Lexi Gray pulled the plug on your wife. I'm her sister. And the man on the table, I'm his wife. So you want revenge? Then shoot me. I'm your eye for an eye. And he almost does. But, yeah. So she almost dies there. She almost dies. Trying to think. The plane crash. Lexi does die there, and then Mark died from after effects there. Arizona, Derek, and Christina almost died there as well, but so did Meredith. because it was hard and bad, and she ended up losing her sister, and she couldn't find Derek, so she thought he was dead. Then there was the time when a patient attacked her because he wasn't fully there, and he ended up attacking her, and she was being up pretty bad. She couldn't talk or speak for the longest time. She had to go through physical therapy and everything. And then the latest is she had COVID, and she was in and out of consciousness and was seeing dead people, which isn't her first time. She saw George. I was so happy to see George. I was. She saw Derek and Lexi and Mark, who I was also very happy to see. And yeah, so that's the latest time she's almost died. Let's hope she doesn't almost die before the show ends again. She doesn't deserve that anymore. Come on. Well, she never did, but you know what I mean. And then honorable mentions, oh my gosh, I have pretty much the entire cast of Pretty Little Liars. Let's be real. I have Emily, Spencer, Hannah, Allison, Caleb, Toby, and Ezra, because they all one time or another almost died. Because that show, everyone almost dies apparently. And then the few people that actually do die and stay dead. Number one is Emily from Criminal Minds. So she only almost dies once, unlike some of the other people on the list, like Meredith, Jughead, Leo, and Levin. I think those are the characters I have that has almost died more than once. But the reason why I have Emily is because they actually made you believe she was dead. The other ones, actually that's not 100% true, because Jughead, they made you believe he was dead. But, anyways, Emily had to fake her death to stop because they knew Doyle would just keep going after her, and she was also the only person, well, one of the only people that know where Declan is, and that he's safe, and to keep him away from Doyle, you know. So Hotch and JJ were the only ones that knew that Emily was alive, and she's my favorite character, so I was so happy they did kill her off, but I was sad that she left, but I was happy she came back. But anyways, moving on, back to the fact that she almost died during her fight with, she kept it all secret because she was trying to protect them, and I love when they figured that out, and they figured out that Emily was the last name on that list, and then Spencer's like, why'd she run? Why? Those few episodes are my favorite in the Doyle's storyline itself is my favorite storyline in the entire show, okay? I absolutely love it. But Emily's my favorite, so I loved that. They had a whole season where there was a storyline focusing on Emily and her past, because her past was, they didn't really focus on her past that much very often, except for the fact that, you know, she moved around a lot. There was the time where you find out that she was pregnant as a teenager, this and that. But, I just loved having a whole storyline of her. The only thing that was low was the fact that JJ was hardly in that storyline since she wasn't in season 6 very much. But other than that, I loved that storyline so much, and I loved, anyways, back to the scene I was saying I love, and then, Spencer's like, why'd she run? We're her family, and, David's like, Doyle's killing families, you know, she's not close to relatives, she's not married, doesn't have any kids, Doyle's ready to wipe us out. She ran to protect us. I just love that. I just love that entire scene. I do. Those entire episodes I love, okay? Now I really want to rewatch these episodes. Just these episodes. I rewatched Criminal Minds not that long ago, but now I just want to rewatch these episodes in particular. Because I have an obsession. But yeah. So, and then she did the whole fight with Doyle. You find out that she had risked everything to protect Declan. And she ended up getting stabbed by this big wood by Doyle. And then Doyle ran off. And Derek finds her. And they have to try to save her life. And then JJ comes out crying, saying that she never made it off the table. And everyone gets all sad. And then you see JJ and Hotch leave to talk, and then you see JJ talking to someone with giving her like a file of aliases, I think, or something, with chewed nails, because that was supposed to be Emily's habit, so it was a little innuendo that she was still alive. But yeah, and then for the rest of the season that she's apparently dead. They did talk about her a lot, and do the whole grief canceling thing at one point and another. But beginning of season 7, another episode I absolutely love. She is discovered to be alive, and love everyone. I love when they tell everyone that she's alive. That Emily walks in, and I just absolutely love it. But yeah, so. And I think later on you do find out that technically she was dead because they had that whole conversation with Spencer and her about, life after death, and I really like that scene. But anyways, that is my list. Please like and subscribe and comment your favorite near deaths in live action TV, and we'll chat below, and I'll talk to you guys later.